Good afternoon, and yes, welcome to this LinkedIn for Business webinar. My name's Phil Jenkins. I am the PR and content manager here at BAL. Today I'm going to run through with you some of the basics of LinkedIn, from setting up a page, updating your profile, updating content, and we're going to talk through LinkedIn algorithms. We're going to touch a little bit on LinkedIn advertising and how you can create contacts and also win business as a tiler. So let's talk about the LinkedIn basics then. We're going to start looking through the history of LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the biggest B2B social platform. It's got with more than 660 million users, with more than 25 million in the UK. It was founded in 2002, and it's actually older than Facebook and Twitter. So it is long established. It is the original B2B professional network. It is used for a variety of functions. It was originally started as a hiring and firing business, social platform, where people could find jobs, people could search for jobs, and also recruiters could look for talent and look for people to fill roles within their business. But it has progressed over the years to become more of a business networking site, and crucially it is being used more and more for actually winning jobs. 40% of that 660 million business users access the site on a regular basis, but actually they only spend on average 17 minutes on the site each week. So that's just a little thing to think about when we're just talking about some of the content you might be posting going forward. So why should you set up a LinkedIn account if you're a tiler? Well, firstly, it's a really strong tool to get some contract work and connect with other larger contractors. As I said, it's the biggest B2B site. It's potentially the new Facebook for small businesses. Perhaps there is a future there for business to customer to end user and domestic leads. Also use that as an opportunity to get your work seen and increase your ranking. If you have a good LinkedIn profile, it also increases your ranking on Google. It's a really great way to connect with distributors and manufacturers who will also share your work and sort of reshare your work to their followers as well. LinkedIn's mission, we'll talk about a little bit later about their algorithm, but their mission is to serve you content from people talking about things you care about. So setting up your account then, it is really easy. All you need to do is go to linkedin.com and set up your account using a professional email address and a password. You can actually even sign up through your Facebook account these days. They've linked them in, so you can set up through there. You will then be asked to upload a job title. A top tip here is to try and use an eye-catching job title, such as professional tile installer with 35 years experience in the industry, or professional tile installer specialising in natural stone, porcelain and ceramics. Don't just say tiler, because it doesn't really showcase what you are and what you do. You're a professional tile installer, a professional tile fixer, or a professional tile contractor. Make sure that headline stands out. Try and use a professional headshot, as you can see on this slide here. It doesn't have to be taken by a professional, just a smart photo taken by someone else, just not a selfie, okay, not a selfie, just a nice smart photo of you looking smart, a nice good headshot with some good lighting. Talk about your experience and qualifications. Even this can even be one-day training courses. You might have attended a training course at BAL. You know, all these things, you know, all these things help to build up your profile and, you know, give some authority to you as a professional tile fixer. So here is a really good example of a profile page. Melissa's profile here, it emphasises the current publication that she's working on, and it's interesting to see here how she's prioritised LinkedIn profile assets to support and emphasise some applicable supporting information. She's used some really good bullet points, stars to make for really easy scanning. She's removed any endorsements which might not be relevant to her, because you can add top skills on this, and you can get colleagues and those you know in the industry to endorse you for certain skills. You know, for example, it might be working with natural stone or external tiling or swimming pools or something like that. And she's got a personalized web links instead of sort of the generic company. Okay, so how do you go about finding contacts and building up your network base and your contacts? Well, it really is easy. Firstly, you can search for people in the industry. You know, LinkedIn will automatically offer you some suggested contacts based on your job title. So if you're a tile contractor or a tiler, LinkedIn will give you a whole host of potential connections for you to connect with. I would suggest start by linking to work colleagues or friends in the industry, and your network will automatically expand as you're given more suggested contacts through your first degree contacts. Follow companies and associations, i.e. the Tile Association. This will also help you to expand your network. You can also invite friends and contacts using their email address. You can use hashtags, and you can search in hashtags, and you can join in the conversations then, and then that will start linking you with more people in the industry. Another top tip is to join LinkedIn groups such as the Tile and Stone Journal, and tile associations such as the Tile Association. Okay, so what's next? So now you have got your contacts. What next do you need to do? Well, now you need to start talking to your contacts. So reach out for them, particularly in the industry. Send praise or recommendations of work. Endorse them. So endorse their skills. What about those of what about similar trades, plumbers or kitchen fitters, or external landscapers, or electricians, the other guys, the other trades that you work with on site? You know, follow them as well, talk to them, recommend them, endorse them, join in the conversation generally about what's happening in the tiling industry or in the construction industry in general. Okay, so now I'm going to touch a little bit about on setting up a company page. This might be is useful to show off your company and the work you will do, but you know, this also might only be suitable for small contractors. It helps establish your company as a leader in its field. It separates the business from the personal, as it were, where you can really delve down and talk about some of the skills that your company can offer, and it can, as I said, it shows off your work as a company or a sole trader. Okay, setting up a company page then is easy. All you do is simply click the work icon in the top right of your LinkedIn homepage, and then click the create a company page. Then you will be asked to select the type of page that you would like to create, and from the following options, there's small business, there's medium to large business, probably the two of the main ones for you. But there are also other ones such as manufacturer, like a conglomerate or a school or institution. You will enter your page identity, your company name and your profile details. You'll also then be asked to check the verification box. You confirm that you have the right to act on behalf of that company in the creation of the page. Then you need to click the create page, and then from there, that's it. You go start building your page. Very straightforward, very similar to building your own personal profile. So here's an example of the BALS company page. With a company page, you will as well as the personal page, you can upload posts, videos, pictures, as well as other information, including links to your website and events. You can also invite some of your personal connections to follow your company page. And, but as we said, this might be easy for you just to stick with your personal page for personal networking, particularly if you're only a sole trader. But it's up to you. Absolutely, why not have a go at setting up a company page and see how it works for you. Another good thing for the company page, just like the personal page, there also is an analytics side where you can see what you are doing on a weekly or monthly basis and how you're interacting, if you're building up your follower base, and how many people are clicking on your buttons and going through to some of your content and watching some of your content. So what sort of content should you be posting then? So photo updates are absolutely crucial. Share your work, share your company's work, show off the skills that you have. Video is also an up-and-coming content area on LinkedIn. You can now post native videos directly onto your company or personal pages. An example of this is our A to Z videos, plus industry news, views, and opinions. I'm going to see if this will play. This video will play now. I'm just clicked on it now. Hopefully it will.
Hello again, it's Carl Cox from Bow, and I'm continuing Bow's A to Z of tiling, and today is letter L. Now the L we're going to use stands for latence. Now for those who are not familiar, latence is a weak, brittle sort of skin layer that sits on the surface, ranging in thickness, can be almost non-existent, up to in some cases up to 5 mil thick, which sits on the surface of different types of concrete and gypsum-based screeds. It starts forming once the material is.
Okay, so that's a quick example of a video we did. You can see the rest of that if you go onto our LinkedIn page, Bow Tiling, and see the rest of Carl's video on latence. Yeah, so keep it on topic, on brand, keep it relevant to the industry. What about a little advice video or post about what sort of, about a particular process that you're working on?
Hello again, it's Carl.
Okay, this is a good example of a post by JP Tiling Contractors. Great to see progression at one of our Birmingham City Centre flagship schemes at Sherborne Wharf for Crest Nicholson. Some nice images there, and there's some images of the outside of the building, and also some nice images there of the tiling work that they've carried out inside. And as you can see here, has got 24 likes. So moving on now, let's talk a little about LinkedIn algorithms. So, there's 3 things to bear in mind then. So first of all, let's get talking. Secondly, hashtags. And thirdly, a little more conversation, a little more action. So changes to the LinkedIn algorithm in 2020 mean that the platform is now prioritizing content which sparks conversation. So, as we said before, it has essentially become your professional Facebook. So LinkedIn's mission is to serve you content from the people you know and the things about people talking about things you care about. So with this in mind, don't be afraid to voice your opinion on industry trends. Okay, to share your news and content relevant to your profession. Comment on the content within the hashtags that you follow. This will prioritize your content and it will reach the people that you really want it to reach. LinkedIn does prioritize the content that people are talking about, reacting to, sharing and viewing. Hashtags are new, quite relatively new for LinkedIn. I think they sort of jumped back on the sort of Twitter and the Facebook using the hashtags. This allows people, similar to those 2 other social media networks, is to allow people to view the trending subjects. So just a couple of things just to bear in mind when posting content to LinkedIn. Just think, what are the people I want to reach? What are they talking about? How can I get in front of them? Post that relevant content. Okay, so advertising then. LinkedIn advertising. Okay, is LinkedIn advertising, is it worth it? Okay, looking at some of the return on investment and the click-through rates of LinkedIn, looking at the average click-through rate of LinkedIn is actually 0.39%. Now, compared that to Facebook, it's 0.90%. So you can see a significant uplift there in click-through rates for Facebook advertising. So for the smaller Tyler, the small trader, the domestic fixer, if I'm being totally honest, I don't think that LinkedIn advertising is going to work for you. Okay, maybe if you're a larger contractor or a small contractor, you know, and you really want to get your work seen in front of the main contractors, then maybe LinkedIn advertising is something to go for you. You know, it is more expensive than Facebook and Twitter. You know, as we said, LinkedIn is a business-to-business network, and it might not be suitable for your domestic fixer. LinkedIn, I do think LinkedIn is more about that networking with the contractors, the tiling contractors and the main contractors. Obviously, the main contractors if you are a tiling contractor. You know, LinkedIn advertising does work well for particularly for recruiters and for big brands and some of the B2B brands, you know, particularly things like Zoom, like video conferencing, etc. You know, where they really want to get in front of those businesses, then actually LinkedIn advertising is probably going to work well for you. But as I said, you know, probably doesn't offer the return on the investment for small traders. So a top tip for me, I would say, is probably concentrate on your Facebook advertising or your Twitter advertising, or just advertising locally, generally spending that money perhaps on your local, on your personal website, for example. Okay, so some top tips for winning business then on LinkedIn. You know, treat your LinkedIn profile as an interactive resume on steroids. That's what I'd say. You know, it really does allow you to enhance your profile with some of those interactive capabilities that showcase your experience and your work, instead of just listing your work experience and your sort of your education, your qualifications. You know, connect with as many people as you can. Okay, but always try and include a note. That's a good key point. When you're connecting with people, try and include a note asking them why you'd like to connect with them, etc. And you know what you do, and you know what your specialisms are. You know, offer your services. If there are any large jobs going, or you know, a lot of we do. I often see some of the large contractors saying, you know, I'm looking for tilers to work in this large project in, I don't know, Brighton, this large hotel in Brighton, for example. You know, and if you're a fixer in that area or you're willing to travel, get involved in your conversation, offer your services, share your mobile phone numbers, and just get connected with people in the industry. Really, you know, there is loads of people looking for tilers all the time. As we said, recommend others for work, build up a network, ask other people to recommend you. We've already said join the targeted groups, scout for praise and showcase your work as much as possible. Talk about the jobs you're doing, follow them through from the start. If you watched our Facebook webinar, which you can go back and watch on YouTube, we talked about building up, showing that before and after shots. You know, really showing your skill as a tile fixer to everybody else, and showing how you can transform that tiling project. You know, follow the key industry leaders, follow the main contractors and the architects, follow the main manufacturers, and which really does help you secure business and win those contracts. Because a lot of it, you know, we all talk about it. It's not what you know, it's often who you know, and that's where LinkedIn is so important for you as a tiler. You know, get yourself well known in with those tiling contractors and those main contractors. Show them what a good business, what a good company you are, what a good tiler you are, and what good jobs you produce. So moving on then to any other business, some other things to think about when using LinkedIn for business. Make sure you regularly update. Always check in. You know, you don't have to do LinkedIn. You don't have to use a tablet or a laptop. The LinkedIn app you can download on your smartphone is absolutely brilliant. Just to flick on it, set aside perhaps 10-15 minutes at the end of every day just to see what people are talking about, interact with the conversations, upload your work that you've done in the day or some jobs, maybe looking back at some of the really jobs that you're really proud of. So post that content that's relevant to the industry, and just remember, it is business, it isn't personal. It isn't Facebook. I am seeing a lot of political posts these days. You know, I'm not so sure whether that's something you should really get involved with, really. and in talking about those things. I really do try and keep it to your industry. Obviously, if it's something about construction of tiling, why not join in and get involved? Anything outside of that, I really wouldn't. It really is. It's business. It isn't personal, and it certainly isn't Facebook. Okay, and there we go, and that's it for me. Thank you very much for joining us today. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining us today for our LinkedIn for Business webinar. If you did miss anything, we will be downloading this recording, and we will be putting it up for onto YouTube and some of our other social media channels. This webinar has been brought to you as part of BAL's Stay Positive, Back Stronger campaign that we've been running over the lockdown period here in the UK. We have lots of other things coming up for you over the week, so do check our social media channels. So BAL Tiling on Twitter, BAL Tiling on Facebook, and our showcase page, our BAL Tiling showcase page on LinkedIn, of course. So thanks everybody for joining us. Just a quick one. We do have a pub quiz live for you tomorrow at 2 o'clock on our Facebook page. So if you want a bit of fun, join us for that tomorrow. But that's it. Thanks for joining us. Have a great evening.